So, Sufi, since you kind of segued that, would you like to reveal your trade for the Washington Capitals to improve them?
Mm-hmm. And I have it right here. So there's a little conditional juice in here. So to the Columbus Blue Jackets, we have Evgeny Kuznetsov, the aforementioned 26-year-old Lucas Johansson, defenseman. He was a former first-round pick, hasn't really gotten a chance with us. Whole spiel. And I think Columbus is in the position where they can just try out as many defensemen as possible and see what works. A 2026 third rounder. And then here's the conditional part. It's a conditional 2025 second round pick. I'll tell the condition in a second, because coming back to Washington is Justin Danforth, Patrick Laine, and a 2025 fifth. Now here's the condition. Laine hasn't played many games in the last 2 years. That 2025 second becomes a first if he plays at least 70 games next year.
Okay.
You get me? And the salary change is about $1 million for the Caps, because Laine is making 8.7, Kuznetsov is making 7.8, and the other two players are both making close to league minimum, so not much difference there. But yeah.
Chances are Laine wouldn't play 70 because he'll ask for a trade around 15 games in.
My hope is, at least Washington isn't Winnipeg or Columbus in how the city is formed.
That's a pretty in-depth trade. I like it.
Yeah.
But
I think I'm not going to say it's likely, because I don't know. We've been talking about top six forward for the last year, it seems like. And we've also been talking about trading Kuznetsov for quite a long time. But I think this opens things up for us a lot. It gives a whole different dimension on the power play. It lets our center core finally settle into what it should be, which is Strome, McMichael, and Protas, and Kuznetsov can just, go do what he needs to do in Columbus and maybe figure out his career or go to the KHL. I honestly don't care after that happens. But yeah, and salary wise, it kind of works out as well. So yeah, and I think Laine is also young enough for, I think the production is there. He just needs to figure out some things internally.
And also skate a touch faster.
That's fine. I just need him to rip goals.
Yeah, true.
Just do what you got. Because even though he's slow, he still dangles through like 4 guys a season just on one play. Yeah. At least once a season. And then he just doesn't do it ever again. But yeah.
Omar, what are you doing to improve the Leafs?
Okay, I have a little. So I know we've been talking a little bit about how Samsonov's been playing well and stuff, but I don't trust it. No. And I know the Leafs need defensemen and whatnot, but honestly, the thought of going into the playoffs with, Samsonov, Martin Jones, and Joseph Woll, who's barely played this season, is quite daunting. So for me, it's goalie all the way. So I've put together probably a very unrealistic trade, but one that I would love to see happen, which involves the Leafs letting go of their 2024 first round pick, their 2025 third round pick, their 2026 first round pick, so 2 firsts and a third, and including Tyler Bertuzzi in there. And that package goes to Nashville for Soros. Thoughts?
Pretty sure you have too many goalie roster spots.
Yeah.
Okay, one will go on the IR. It's all good. Leafs are good at that.
I think that actually does work right now because they have enough goalies in the minors at IR.
Yeah.
I know Bertuzzi hasn't been great, but I think that the only problem with that is that you then lose your only guy that probably has potential to score more in your top 6 outside of those 4 players.
I know that, but I've let that go.
Also, you're just going fully, those four players have to produce, or we just will not win.
Give me a. I'll take the extra saves instead of the extra goal.
I don't know how I feel about that.
I think that's actually pretty fair value for UC Saros.
The trade itself is fine. Like, the value wise is fine. It's just like, I don't know. I think that they also still need to be able to score. That's a lot of pressure.
Toronto just has a lot of issues. You're not going to fix it. But
I mean, fair enough. But the amount of pressure they already have to score, those four guys, is like triple after this.
Like Tyler Bertuzzi hasn't really worked out. I'm not saying that come playoff time he can't wake up a little and shine and score some big goals. Yeah, that can happen. Like no doubt. But he hasn't shown me that like, oh, this is an irreplaceable player right now, like as a depth scorer, as a secondary scorer to the big four. He hasn't been the guy. And
I think the only problem is though, you're hoping Saros comes in and like stands on his head. Cause like he has shown to do that at times, but the thing is like he's not having the greatest season right now in the first place. He didn't really have that great of a season last year either. I think the numbers weren't crazy, but they were still really good. This year, he's definitely fallen off track of that a lot. And like Nashville plays a much more sheltered system. So like I just don't understand. I just don't know how much this is going to, propel you guys into
I just
but it's something. I don't mind it personally.
I think what I'm comparing Saros to is Ilya Samsonov and Martin Jones. So if he's fallen off a little bit, or if he's had a struggle for a year or two or so, I'm still gonna take him. I'm still gonna take.
The thing is, I wouldn't mind this as long as they do other stuff with it.
Yeah, well, I wanted to put one trade out there. I'm not saying.
Yeah. I know.
Yeah.
As long as this isn't the only trade that they would make in the deadline, then it would be a great trade for me.
Like get him in and let's follow through with those Tanev rumors, and I'm a happy guy.
I think if you get him and you trade Bertuzzi, you get a forward. That's the first priority, and then you can figure out defense from there.
Yeah.
Because then you've at least added a goalie that can make high danger saves.
Yes.
Which we can't really rely on that from your goalies right now.
We can barely rely on them to make a regular save.
Fair enough.
So let's skip the whole high danger conversation, guys.
Cross that bridge when we get there.
Although you know what, poor Samsonov, the guy made that 2-0. Come on, like poor guy. Like those were two.
Oh, they only won that game because of him.
Yeah, so I'm sorry, Samsonov. You deserve praise for this week.
By the way, the saves were great. That was also a very big botch job by those two Winnipeg players.
Yeah. Yeah, 2 chances.
The most brutal. That was the longest 2-0 I've ever seen. That was also the worst execution of a 2-0
We had 2 shots at it.
Oh my god! The guy that took the first shot, if he passed that across one more time, he had a wide open net.
Yep. I also think that that initial shot they took, the passing play they made on the initial shot, I won't hate on them for that, because like that was fine. Like Samsonov just made a good save there. The second one, also honestly, he made a really good save. I don't know.
No, but that's what I'm saying. I think on the first one, the player didn't realize that Samsonov had completely committed to that side, he still had a lot of room to pass it back. But you could see that the guy's head was down. He was ready to shoot it at that point, no matter what. But yeah, I think that second save was impressive, where he like reached back with his leg.
Yeah.
And then no Toronto player had shown up at all.
None of the stars were on the ice. I don't want that.
Mitch Marner actually was. I did watch that back. So your entire analysis was pretty wrong, because Mitch Marner, after so that pass that came from their zone to those two players, Mitch Marner kind of like swung at it.
Yeah.
And then he was looking right at those two guys. He was looking at them. And then he saw those two guys and he just left. He just went to the bench.
No, he was on the ice after the play as well. He was one of the first ones to
okay, but then that just proves my point.
What?
How did it take so long for him to get back? He was at the blue line when that happened.
I don't know where he was. I have to watch the play again to see where Marner was. I don't know where Marner was.
Because you were explaining that to me, and I was like, bro, that's not how I saw it. Well, you seem pretty passionate, so I'll let you have it.
No,
The
only one that was on for sure that I saw who went for the bench instead of coming back was Nylander.
Well, as Marner, that was the one that I would be talking about then, because he's the only one that took forever to get back. Connor Timmins was first back.
Yeah,
because he has something to prove. I have not seen anyone skate that fast because he was like at the circle and he made it back. You could tell he was like gassing it. All right, Evan, what's your trade?
All right. Let me pull this up.
Wait, this guy's your MLB 2024 cover athlete,
Oh,
Vlad.
Guerrero.
Very exciting stuff. Yeah.
All right. My trade, I believe, helps with an issue. And I don't know if this is exact fair value, but I thought it makes sense. The Ottawa Senators trade Rourke Chartier and Jacob Chikrin to the Los Angeles Kings in exchange for Matt Roy, Carl Grundstrom, and a 2025 second round pick.
Sorry, who's the player with Chikrin that goes to LA?
Chartier. So, my thought process here is Matt Roy is a right-handed defenseman who is, I believe, more defensively sound, as well as you get Carl Grunstrom, who is I would say probably like a third liner, who plays hard, in exchange for a more of an upper echelon defenseman, and we get a higher draft pick as well.
What were the picks in that?
Just a second going to Ottawa.
Interesting.
Second going to
How
Ottawa.
old is Roy?
28.
And how old
Wait,
is
so it's Chikrin and Chartier for Roy, Grunstrom, and a second?
Correct.
Just working in my head. I don't know what's happening.
I like
So
I do like
Ottawa
Matt Roy.
trade defenseman and forward, get defenseman forward back. Ottawa also get pick.
Okay. No, it just wasn't working in my head for some reason. Because for me, I was
big name.
Jacob
the big name
Chikrin
went
is
to
the best player in this deal, right?
Yeah.
So therefore, the pick should be going for him. But for some reason, I was in the mindset of why isn't LA getting a pick? And then I realized that LA wasn't trading the best player. It just wasn't working in my head because both of our trades were trying to, win now mode, and yours was, kind of stand pat but change a few things. So it just wasn't working. But yeah, that's fair. I do think that pick could be, could potentially be a first. I don't know how much.
Yeah, and I was I feel like a second is very reasonable. But I thought I would at least start with that. And
I think that could be a conditional. You
yeah,
could throw in a condition. LA makes the third round or something, becomes a first.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's why.